Watch your so-called best friends. This is a cautionary tale. At 2 Brute, me 25M girlfriend 23F at the time. A little over 25 years ago, I found the woman of my dreams, we will call her Mary. We did everything together. She learned to love my passions like scuba diving and fishing. She was beautiful, smart and funny. After about a year we moved in together more or less. I still kept my own place but stayed at her place more often than not. Life was great, in fact I was thinking about asking her to marry me. Then, she started to act distant. I was getting the Heisman in bed, and she started to want alone time, picking BS fights. Always be mindful of red flags even if she tells you it's not in your head. I started to talk to my best friend Billy every night about what was happening and how I was thinking it was another man, and what I was trying to do to find out. After trying for a long time to catch her, I gave up and moved on. I ended up moving to another city about 2 hours away with a much better job. Then one day out of the blue, Mary reconnects with me. We chat for hours and hours over days and weeks. Think of Forrest Gump. We were like peas and carrots. She comes to visit. It goes well. So she moves in with me and finds a job. Things are going so well we start to look for a nicer apartment, and again I was thinking about popping the question. I was in the process of thinning things out, pitching out the junk to make the move easier. She drove up to see her folks, 2-hour drive. I had to work the next day so I did not go. I went back to pitching out things. I got to a pile of partially used legal pads and notebooks, flipped through them to make sure nothing. I was not pitching out anything important. I opened a notebook, like the ones in school with a black and white binder. It was Mary's journal. I read it, every single sorted word. I was absolutely crushed. I went into the bathroom and puked. It's been 25 years and I can still feel the pain. I hardly know where to start. She was having a non-stop sexual affair with my best friend Billy, with every sexual detail you can imagine down to the taste of our CM. Her and Billy were laughing at me about how he knew every single thing I was doing to catch them. It all falls into place. That is the reason I never caught him. I was telling my every move to the guy that was ducking my girl. A few months after our breaking up, still completely in the dark, I started to notice that Billy was very, very distant. For example, I was not invited to a barbecue held at Billy's house, which I thought was odd, but I went anyway. When I walked in, they acted like they had seen a ghost, and few were bumping their elbows to each other and were chuckling to themselves. I saw Mary there, which was not a shock as we ran with the same crowd. In hindsight, Billy looked uncomfortable, but at the time I played it off as maybe he thought he forgot to invite me and felt bad. I did not stay long as the place had a weird vibe going on. More red flags. In large part I was ostracized from my what I thought friends, still in the dark, so much so that I never said goodbye to any of them when I moved. After reading her journal, I made copies, one set for me, one set for Mary's parents, one set for Billy's current wife and his parents, and left a set on top of the pile of her things by the front door. I put a note in saying, she has 24 hours to pack and leave, otherwise I will call the police. My name is on the lease. My phone blew up and I did not answer. My voicemail was filled with, I love you, you are my best friend, that was in the past, you are the love of my life, etc., etc., and more, etc. At the end of my note on top of her things it said, I will never be someone's plan B. Fast forward 20 plus years, happy married to a woman that adores me with grown kids. Moral to the story? Pay attention to red flags, and remember Caesar thought that Brutus was his friend. Redditor's reaction. Redditor 1, life can be evil and vile. Your experience was soul-crushing and traumatic. Thank you for sharing it with us and emphasizing to be mindful of red flags. And the thing with so-called friends, I think it was pretty crummy. No one stepped forward to tell you that Billy and that wench were seeing each other. Friends are like shadows, they only appear when the sun is shining. Redditor 2, I wish things like Reddit was around back then, and I would have seen the red flags better. It was just baffling back then until the last, then. It all falls into place. A little too late, but better than ending up with someone's plan B. Redditor 3, best part of your story. Fast forward 20 plus years, happily married to a woman that adores me with grown kids. I had an ex-fiancé who had a child with another guy. He was a piece of crap. Physically, mentally and emotionally abusive to her, but she kept messing around with him behind my back. Finally had enough and dumped her. Found the love of my life 20 plus years later. Same thing, she adores me and me her. 2 kids. Things work out. Karma of the whole thing. Ex married someone else. He ended cheating on her a few years back, got another woman pregnant and left my ex. She had to move home at 42, living with her parents. She told a pastor friend of mine I was her biggest mistake. I'm just glad I found my wife. You hit the nail on the head, never be someone's plan B. Redditor 4, my ex was ducking around with his best friend's girl not while we were together, and it was crazy to watch this wonderful person I knew break up was amicable become this sleazy asshole with no regard for anyone else's feelings but his own. He never told me what he did, but I put the pieces together until the GF came out and told her BF, and now none of them talk. Redditor 5, what made you finally break up with her? You thought she was cheating but never found any proof. Was it just too much weird chat, like her needing alone time, etc., so you realized this wasn't the relationship you wanted to be in? How did she take it the first time you broke up with her? It must not have been too bad if you moved away and a while later she made contact with you again. How long was it from the time that you broke up with her the first time, to the time she contacted you again? Was she still seeing Billy this whole time? Even when she contacted you again? Answer, well, I think in large part she was pushing me to break up by her actions. I am only guessing here that if she dumped me and then went with Billy I would realize both of them were backstabbing me, but if I walked away it would have a better look for her. Like I said, that is only a guess. She was rejecting me hard, so I walked away. I did the pick me dance, love that line for a week or two, but told myself F that. I took her on a romantic getaway to a nice resort. It was too expensive for what I was making and she acted like she was doing me some damn favor for even being there. I think in hindsight that was the final straw. I was talking every single night with Billy about what I was planning to catch her, like parking way down the block to see if someone was coming or going. Yeah, I know it's stalking. Lol, the goofy part is you are so emotional that you are not thinking with any logically if she is seeing someone else or not. She is not into you any longer and you need to find someone that is. But it's easy to be logical after the fact, but not while you are desperately looking for answers and really wanting to F up the person that is destroying your life, not thinking out the part that it's her, not the other person as much. No one walks in unless they open the door first. In trying to think back over the years, I guess it was a month or 2 before I moved. In a lot of ways I was a bit of a shut-in, which was the opposite of who I am. I'm an extrovert but not then. It was, I guess, maybe a year or so before I heard from her. That was back in the days where we all still had landlines, lol. I have no idea when she was talking to me if she was still with Billy. She certainly has that ability to do just that. So I don't know if they were still a pair. Emo, in hindsight I believe she was testing the water, to see if I was receptive to get back together before she kicked him to the curb, but I have no idea. That is why the plan B so stuck in my mind. Redditor 6, my best friend had an affair with my husband at the time. We were friends since we were about 12. He left me for her, then she broke up with him. Don't trust anyone. Redditor 7, man. You're my hero and I'm glad you managed to start a family with a real woman. I love it when someone older gives advice on a sub. Redditor 8, you're lucky she was careless. Ignoring your gut red flags could have had you married to her and raising Billy's kids. Redditor 9, what a effing friend. After reading this I want to punch the duck out of him. Moral of the story, never ever trust someone 100% ever. Redditor 10, hey man, just went through a similar experience, and the fact you said you are happily married and have a family really lifts my hopes up for the future. Just wanted to say thanks. Answer, yeah, I have to tell you, it was the worst pain in my life. Nothing was even close, but somehow you get past it, then you will be tapping along and boom. Out of left field it will hit you again. It will get less often and less hurtful. The biggest downside is you become super paranoid for a long time, and you end up looking for things even when they are not there, but even that will pass with the right woman. My wife calls me with, for example, hey, I'm leaving work, for 2 reasons. 1, I worry about her safety, and 2, she knows it puts my mind at ease. That is what a great wife will do. She will anticipate what will bother you.